That's 4 strikes in a row. You got a perfect game going. Miss! Miss! Sorry, I was calling the waitress. This split you sold me is making me choke. Hey, spare me your gutter mouth. Ow, ow!
Hello? Kids, turn off the TV. I have some bad news about Lenny. Not Lenny! Not Lenny!
Spare me your gutter mouth. Ow, ow!
Not Lenny! Not Lenny! Oh, ear polishing bone! Not Lenny! Not Lenny!
Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Trust me, it'll be funny when I'm an old man. Bum 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 bum. Oh, the sunshine bright on my old Kentucky home. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Oh, the sunshine bright on my old Kentucky home. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Oh, the sunshine bright on my.
Okay, that's enough of that. Alright, everybody. We are back again. We'll turn that off. And, can you turn on the camera? What is the camera looking at? Click. Hey, look, it's looking at miniatures. We are back again for another painting with the cooler. Chilling with the cooler, if you will. Last week, we ended up playing some Battle Brothers. After that got voted on. Failing spectacularly for like an hour and a half before it was like, I don't want to die anymore. Yeah, so we're here to play nothing. Instead, we're going to paint, and we're going to work on some projects. So I am surrounded in miniatures right now. Everywhere around this chair, you can see me in the corner here, moving around. And there's a lot of things that we could potentially work on. I've got the chat up so I can see you guys as you're there. I guess the first thing I need to talk about is that this stream is late, though not really. I had meant to do it at 8 o'clock because that seems to be about the time I usually do it at. I accidentally put in 7, and that meant that we were late for when it was scheduled to start, but not when I actually meant to. How is the Nid army, Rafal? It is working on it. I've gotten through all of the gaunts and a couple of the monster creatures with the bone. I'm kind of I'm going to do all of the one step at a time. Yes, we primed a number of more monstrous creatures and got that ready to go. I'm not going to do a showcase right now just because it's not really convenient, but it's going. Progress, bit by bit. As you can see, I've got some Necrons and a lady who I'm going to use as a Necron. That I was going to work on. I don't know if we're actually going to work on these tonight. I thought about maybe just building Infinity models. Infinity N4 is around the corner, and I have a lot of miniatures to build and work on. So that was also there. I also did one of those, hey, let's swing over to the parents' house and dig through the basement in the old bookshelf. And what do we have in there? Oh, I'm not going to stop. Look, I'm like... Oh god, I need to clean this room up. It's just a mess. There's just miniatures everywhere. But here, let's make some space. Move some minis. Grab some bottle caps. And let's take a look at a few books. Starting with Old fun. Warriors of Chaos. I miss the old army books. I miss them a lot because I have the new like Gloomspite Git army book and like obviously a few others for Age of Sigmar and the new 40k books, and they're just not as good. They're not as nice. Like you don't get artwork like this anymore. Oh, can we do it without the shine? Wild. You have this one. Here we'll look a little bit at it. So you've got all the like huge amounts of text, big ol' art spreads, black and white, scary looking stuff. Obviously this is the Chaos book. Can I adjust the camera a little bit? You guys can see what I'm looking at a little bit more. Maybe. Maybe not. It's not really set up for us to be reading together. But yeah, just like every unit type has its own page. It was less about the rules. Like they had rules, but like this is the rules for the Chaos Warrior. Here's the background of the Chaos Warrior. And like it's just so different. Here's all the different mounts you can have, and it gets into the monsters, and there's all the characters. Just like tons of stuff. And it made me sad looking at it. Now I can go the other way though. And we can look at a different, get out of here, giant beetle. We can look at another side of the coin. Space Marines. Also, I like cranked up the contrast, if you're wondering why the color might be a little weird. Though it might not be when I'm looking at the stream. It doesn't seem too far off. Codex Space Marines. I think this is 4th edition? Because the splash art is still the, oh Jesus. Still has the old Land Raider. I like how this is like, this is the Ultramarines chapter, and this was the artwork that they, or not the artwork, but the huge miniature collection. And I'll be honest, when I was a kid and at the time, this was a terrifying, like, oh my god, could you imagine having that many miniatures? Here we are. It's just wild. There's so many tanks, giant ass Land Raiders. This is a super light army book. There was not a ton. This one is much more rules. There's no, like, not the huge amounts of lore. So you've got our Space Marine armory and all of the weapons summed up right here. Armor values. I believe this one is the one that also has, like, here's tactics for how to play. You're not going to get that anymore. And, like, there's demo armies still, but they're not going to be like, Terminators hold to counterattack or counterattack as necessary. Command squad advances into cover of the ruins. Like, here, use an all-out attack, solid defense, refuse to flank. Tons of paint schemes. How to paint a Space Marine. Look, guys, for all those people who say you can't paint a Space Marine, this is how easy it is. You just white, then blue, then yellow, red, black, and then add some trim. And you're done. Paint the base green. Oh, this was the how to build terrain out of like cardboard. Get into some model art spreads. This was the tank that I owned when I was a kid. I had a Predator. Specifically the Predator Annihilator. Got Tiny Horus, and here's all your war gear, the items that you can get. Storm Shields have a 4-up invuln, save in close combat. The save may only be used against one opponent per turn. The defender chooses who it's used against, and it may not be combined with a Rosarius or an Iron Halo save. Thunderhammer counts as a Power Fist, but any model wounded by it not killed may not attack until the end of the next assault phase. Vehicles count as crew shaken in addition to any other effects. There we go. Got people messaging me out of nowhere. Salamander's chaplain Xavier. Is this guy in the game anymore? Those of you in the chat, does anyone know? Somebody let me know if chapter or Salamander Chaplain Xavier is still in. At the time, he had Vulcan sigil, personal icon. Vulcan sigil bears this icon is said to have been carried by the Primarch himself. It counts as a holy relic. It affects all Salamanders, Space Marines within 12 inches when it's revealed instead of 2d6. He has Xavier's Cloak. He's immune to instant death from an attack that causes instant death. Basically, if your strength was doubled their toughness, it would just instant kill you. Instead, he only loses a single wound, but he can die to instant death from other ways. Independent character, command squad. Sergeant Lysander, when he was just a dude. When he was Sergeant Lysander. Here's the custom scenario that came in it. So this was Planetfall, specifically designed for Space Marines. And then how the day in the life of a Space Marine is in here somewhere. He's a generic chaplain now. Ah, that's too bad. Same for the Dark Angels Scout Sniper. What else we got here? We've got the Skaven book, Warhammer Fantasy book. Ooh, then we've got... Here we go. How about White Dwarf 138? When is that? 138. Oh yeah, there's your Dark Elf Cavalry. What was that ad for? Metal Hammer, the biggest and best hard rock heavy metal magazine. Goes monthly on April 29th. 10-track cassette featuring Dread Zeppelin, World War III, Mindfunk, Skyclad, Goat, Dead On, Cheap and Nasty, South Gang, Sweet Addiction, more and more. It comes with a new cassette. Andy Chambers Craftworld Army. All kinds of Eldar. Some Space Hall commissions. I suppose I should put this down if I'm going to flip pages. It kind of doesn't work if I'm just reading it. Series of Space Wolves, some printouts. Advanced Hero Quest Henchmen. Yeah, it was just a case of like, what do we got in the collection? I think there's a job application in here. It's when they were trying to have a music label. Could you imagine having hit locations like this? Where it's like leaning around the corner, covered up to the neck. Even like D&D and stuff. Here you go. Basic penetration table. Chainmail has a 60% armor penetration rating and is a type of armor primitive. Flak has 50% and is physical. Plate is 30% primitive. Refractor field, 30% energy. Shield and buckler, primitive. Metal Hammer is still around? Good. I'm glad it's still around. Look at these Terminators. Look at those Terminators. I have a few of these Terminators, actually. I've got Cyclone Missile Man, and actually these are mostly Grey Knights. I don't have these ones. Yeah, we've got another White Dwarf 196. These are just going to be random. I didn't ever have a subscription. It was just a case of like what I kind of came across. And that's what I have. Oh, I have a second Space Marines book. Space Marines and Space Marines again. Faded edition. First time I had a live stream from you. Cool Warhammer book. Hey there, Dave. Nice to meet you. Yeah, I mean, GW would have had to run ads at some point. I mean, everybody starts somewhere. There's always a bigger fish. And it's not like music isn't bigger than Warhammer. Oh, one of these got a little crushed. Oh no, it's my Codex Chaos Space Marines. Nope. My Tau Empire one. And Space Marines again. Here we go. You said there's a sniper, right? I also have the first gen plastic Terminators. The ones who can like move their arms and clip on their little waists. I wish I still had, or I wish I had more of them. Oh, Dark Angels. I played you for 15 minutes. Origins, oh wait, that's, hey look. The Lost Primarchs, Caliban, joining the Order. The Unforgiven on the Rock. Look at that guy. He's holding a Tyranid skull. I don't know if you can, I don't know if I can get it in the camera here. There we go. So nice. So nice. If I could get that as the cover of the next Dark Angels book. Or even this. I know this, I think this was at some point. Also great. Raven Wings, Terminators. So we're getting into the rules now. Predators, Rhinos, Company Masters, Chaplains, and Interrogator Chaplains. We've got the Librarians. Ezekiel, Grandmaster of the Librarians. Now he's still around. Belial of the Deathwing is still around. Samael of the Ravenwing is still around. Azrael is obviously still around. Okay, so that's it there. I don't have the Sniper Dark Angel one that somebody was referencing before. Look at that one. I love it. Is it focused on here? Fantastic. Yeah, Chaos Space Marines. I think this is the one that people were saying was the best Chaos Codex. Or it's this one. I don't know. They're both pretty great, in my opinion. But I like all of them. What else we got here? We got some High Elves. We've got a more recent Right Dwarf. This one's from 2010. You know, just 10 years ago. It's not that old. We've got another Space Marine Codex for when you play the Space Marines. And Dwarfs, Dark Elves. I think that's just about it. That's all I really want to talk about anyway. Just a fun little idea. This Dark Angel Scout was 3rd edition, I believe. Ah, I see. So a little bit before I started really trying to get my hands on books. Tossed out all my old army books a few months ago. Didn't realize people were willing to pay for them. I mean, I'm not even really interested in selling them. These are just mine. This is my old collection, and I don't think I would sell them. It'd have to be a pretty crazy offer. Like this is my. So you might notice that this Dark Elf book is wound. I went and had it done at like the Staples nearby, I believe, so that when I played, I could keep my magic open. I believe it was. There's a page here that wants to be open. Oh look, it's the Lore of Dark Magic, of course. Do I like the old art style of GW or the newer one? Oh, the old one is so much nicer. Oh my god. If I could get nothing but like black and white, like hard angle, crazy artwork that they used to do, I would only buy those books. Let's see if we can find a really good piece of art in this Dark Elf book. I don't think this one has very many. The fantasy books always seemed a little bit lighter in the artwork department. 40K has all this like wild, crazy art. Whereas here it's just little bits of stuff. Here's not bad. Can we adjust that a little bit? We could adjust the light. Big old, oh my god, it's not working. It's not working. I tried so many times. Come back to the square side. Yeah. So anyway, that was just something I wanted to briefly chat about. You know, old artwork, old art books. Oh, I got one more. One more we'll take a quick look at. 4th edition, Warhammer 40K rulebook. Same here with 40K. It all comes down to taste in the end, what tickles your imagination, etc. The model count was too much. It is and it wasn't. I mean, there was also a case, Douglas, that they went a lot more, like they started off with a lot more named characters, but then it turned into your dudes, where you can make your own characters and your own armies, and like your guys are your guys. I think that started to become more of the push than anything else. Here's examples of what you can get cover behind, and what kind of save cover does. Combat, big old Dark Eldar, vehicles and chimeras, ordnance. Look at this rulebook. It's rules. Like this stuff. This is great. Fucking weird ass looking homunculi. Like, look at this guy. This guy is never going to show up in a new 40K book. Just wild. That's 3rd edition? Is it? I thought this is 4th edition. This is the edition that I started playing in, and I could have swore it was 4th. I wonder if it's stamped on here somewhere. Oh, I've got some transfers holding my page. Because this is when I started playing. Yeah, I guess, I mean, if you guys say so, I will believe you. 4th was Assault on Blackreach. Wasn't that this same rulebook? What was the rulebook afterwards? It's got stats in the back, it's 3rd. Alright, we're going with it. It's got a reference page. There should be a publication date. I mean, there should be. Fourth had this. Oh, it had the terrible cover. I remember now. I feel like that's 5th edition, though. I feel like you guys are off by an edition. But now, for the life of me, I can't think of what 3rd would look like. And these are some oldie Dark Eldar boys. Should have an army list section. War gear. Oh, Heroes of the Imperium. Yep. Yep. Here's your Canon S if you wanted to play like this Sisters of Battle art. I like it more than the new Sisters of Battle art. First or second page for a publication date. Product code, part number, produced by, trademarked as of 1998, 1999. I'm looking at this page right here. 1998 for third. I like that Noise Marines is a trademark. Orc with a K is trademark. Ripper Swarm is trademark. They listed them all. Adeptus Sororitas, Adeptus Astartes, Adeptus Mechanicus, Archon, Aspect Warrior, Assassin, and Avatar, and Basilisk are all trademarks. Biovore, Blood Angels, Blood Claws, Bloodthirster, Blue Horror, Calidus, Canonus, Carnifex, Celestin, Chaos Space Marine, Chimera, Codex, Confessor, Calexis, Daemonettes, Dark Eldar, Dark Reaper, Demolisher, Dire Avenger, Drakon, Dreadnought, Earthshaker, Eversor, Exarch, Falcon, Farseer, Fire Dragon, Fire Prism, Flamer, Fleshhound, Great Unclean One, Gretchen, Grey Hunter, Griffin, Grot, Homunculus, Hellhound, Hive Tyrant, Hormigaunt, Immolator, Imperial Guard, Incubus, Inquisitor, Jetbike, Keeper of Secrets, Khorne, Land Raider, Landspeeder, Leman Russ, Lictor Long, Fangs, Lord of Change. It goes on. Hey, Owen, want to feel old? No, not really. Tail end of the red period. Bam, picture of the Imperial Palace. Why don't Custodes look like that? With like silly tall hats and gigantic halberds. Can we do an episode that's just reading your iPhone terms of service? You bet we can. That's next week. I was 10 when this book came out. Yeah, I was around that age too. So, how do you feel now? See, I just want... Oh, I got Post-it notes in here. Nope, I have the last message... Oh, wait. No, it's a dead Post-it note. I like how the first line for Imperium just has a dude with a giant skull on his head. Look at this guy. I love it. The best was the original No Pants Custodes. Yeah, where they're all naked. We got some data sealed on Termagants in Alta Segmentum when it's talking about the different Xenos. Ending within on the mutants. I don't know. Ash, do you have a preference between the new artwork and the old artwork? Came up earlier on. Here's a bunch of scenarios that you can play through. Here's different army lists. Hey, look. You could have a leader. Not a commander or a force commander or a captain or a chapter master. Just a leader. He's just in charge. He's got one wound. He's just a Space Marine. Librarians had 2. Chaplain had 2. Terminators had 1. Now Terminators have 3. First miniature you ever got was a Mage Knight. I don't know what the first was that I got. Dark Eldar Army. Homunculus. Anyway. we're gonna put those aside. It was just kind of an on a whim funsies sort of thing. Gonna drink a bit of coffee here. Obviously iced coffee, because it's too hot for cold or hot drinks. You ever 3rd edition starter set? That's awesome. What came in the 3rd edition starter set? I have no memory of what came in the 3rd edition starters. You know, let's just paint some Necroids as we chat here. How did I paint them? I sent someone a message a while back that has how I painted my dudes. See, people ask, they're like, how did you paint your models? What was the paint scheme? And it's like, yeah, I don't know. Is it you? I don't know. I have to find it somewhere else. Black Templars and Dark Eldar. 6th was Dark Vengeance. Yeah, building the new Necrons sucks. They're super spindly and annoying. I brought it up, I think, before when I was talking about the Eldar in my previous building them videos. They are not fun to put together. They're pointlessly difficult to get their little arms together. Like Ash built all the Space Marines, so I don't know how that went for him. But I mean, they're Space Marines. It can't be that bad to just snap the arms on. But these little guys are line up the gun hand into the gun arm, and then have the 2 shoulders push into the chest of the one, and then slide the chest itself kind of between the gun and the torso. So you're sliding it down in between these 2 pieces, and then pushing it in straight ahead, but the gun's right there, so you don't want to press on that. And some of them, the head has to just slide right in. Oh no, I'm thinking of these idiots. Nope, not you. These guys. They have this my shoulder wraps under the arm torso and then locks in on the face there. Why would it be like that? See, I feel like there was a Facebook post where one dude gave up assembling Necrons from the Indominus box. See, the thing is they have you have to build them, part 1 goes to part 2, goes to part 3, goes to torso 4. And, they all look so similar that you feel like you can just ignore it. But they're not. They have to go to the right guy. And you have to do it slowly, or you're going to have a hard time. I don't think... So Douglas just asked, would I say that the armies have significantly changed in how they played over the editions? I don't think 40k has changed all that much over the editions. The biggest changes that have come have been rules, as far as how vehicles function and how movement functions. I don't think it's actually been a case of the armies play differently. It's more that the rules value different things in the armies, but none of the armies in 40k play particularly difficult or differently. It's just shoot the enemy or melee them. And some armies do a little bit of both. And some do a lot of one and not a lot of the other. And they've kind of never broken away from that. It's just a matter of like, this one is more effective than that one. There we go. Hands are a little bit more normal colored. Put together 2 of the old plastic Battle Forces without knowing that. Probably why I was such a pain. Yes, having a slot in the circle so that it could only be put in a certain direction is definitely better, but the shoulders are not great. Like if they were both holes, like right now, one of these is like a ball joint that goes in, and the other one is just like there. It has a little like nub that you can kind of line up. But it isn't easy. Like these guys are much more annoying, where they have like 3 pieces that slide through each other and the chest locks in, but it's the stupid arm neck combo. I don't know. They're not bad. It's not the end of the world. It's just kind of like fine. Also, I found the Fire Slayer's flesh that I use to paint models. But also, we have Valeria. And I'm going to use her as a Necron Lady Deceiver until the new Catan comes out. And we're going to make it even bigger. Yeah, crushing a little Terminator. I'm going to find a new spear to make it more like Necron-y. I was tempted to just steal this guy's because it's like proportionately sized. It would have worked pretty well, but I need another Overlord, so I decided against it. Yeah, I built the beetle that she gets too. And we're gonna turn that into a another Arachnarok spider. With a big ol' Howdah. He's so big. Look how big this thing is. Like here's pots of paint. Now you understand. Yeah, but he's pretty cool. Yeah, the Void Dragon, that's what it's called. I'm surprised that they're making a Void Dragon model from like a lore perspective, but I guess it works. Yeah, we'll have a Ragnarok Goliath beetle. All covered in goblins, as one does. Let's grab a paintbrush and do some painting. What do we got here? What do we got for paintbrushes? This will do. You think Mars would have blown up? I mean, maybe Mars will blow up. Interesting little thing. I don't think I talked about this last week. So I get asked often, like, what channels do I watch? What kind of lore do I watch? What kind of, like, what do I watch when it comes to talking about miniature gaming? And I usually say I don't really watch anybody. I kind of just make content, and then things that I like to watch have nothing to do with miniature gaming when I'm watching stuff on YouTube. But there is an exception to that, and I don't watch it all the time, but I do every now and again. And there's a channel, Luton89 or Luton99 or Luton in 2 numbers, and he does lore videos on Warhammer 40k. They're super long, like usually they're like an hour long, so I don't watch that many of them. But he posted one the other day about things that he was just like confused or concerned or some other word about the current state of the lore in Warhammer 40k. One part of it was the talking about 2 wound Space Marines and how it means that Space Marines might not all be getting the squat that people were expecting. They might actually be sticking around a little bit longer. And the other one was something that I actually found really neat. is, I guess, in the latest Psychic Awakening book, it's Necrons versus the Imperium, as you might expect, because they were leading into the new Indomitus set. So Necrons got some attention. I guess that one of the Necron boys, Illuminator Xeris, or I think that's his name, the big spindly guy who got a new model at the end of 8th edition, he built an entire network of pylons that prevent the use or prevent the warp from accessing reality. So basically turns off the warp in that region of space, which is pretty interesting from a, like, Luton 09. There you go. Pretty interesting from a, like, potential lore perspective, because then it's like, how did you lose against the Psychers if you had the technology to build a thing that keeps Psychers out? But anyway, so during this campaign, these stories in that book, humans get there, and obviously the Psychers stop being able to be Psychers, and it fucks with the Navigators, and everybody's getting weird who's on the psychic page. But it also starts affecting, like, normal people who aren't telepathic, making them more violent and crazy and unable to sleep and all the kind of bad news bears stuff that you'd have and don't want to have going on. Basically messes with human psyches. And what ends up happening, I'm talking about Cadia, but it's not Cadia, it's somewhere else. He builds more pylons to prevent psychic and warp expansion. So anyway, he builds these pylons, it sets up this area where it's going to prevent the warp, prevent psychic, blah blah blah. What ends up happening is the Sisters of Battle are also there, this sororitas, and their acts of faith work. Like, humans are on the down foot, Necrons are beating them, and they pray to the Emperor, and they all gain, like, holy power, and they go and push through and win. And it's kind of blown the lid off of what the hell is going on in the Sisters of Battle and with the acts of faith. Because it was always assumed, and I was on board on this idea too, that, like, the saints, the living saints and stuff like that, were effectively demons of the Emperor. That they were psychic manifestations based on a bunch of people, like, misidentifying psychic powers as holy powers. And the Big E being a psyker that's just kind of helping it along. But now, in a place where psychic powers don't work, they did work. And it raises the question of, like, oh, is there another power source thing out there? Or is the person who wrote this just stupid and holo maneuvered the faith in Warhammer 40k? I don't know. They even make a line, apparently, where it's something along the lines of, faith is now a weapon that the Imperium has. Didn't they have demon as a tag? I might be wrong. But anyway, yeah, so there's this interesting situation going on now where the acts of faith and the stuff that the Imperium uses is, like, not a psychic power. It's not connected to the warp, because in a zone where the warp was cut off, they continued to function. Now maybe they'll make an argument that, like, their power was strong enough to overwhelm the portals, thus, like, they could access the warp anyway. There was another argument that he brought up in his video that you could make the argument that by believing that it's not from the warp manifested in such a way that it's not actually from the warp, because, like, what you believe becomes real. But I mean, it doesn't really work. Like, that doesn't make sense to me, in the sense that it's still the warp. Like, no matter how you slice it, it's the warp in the end. So yeah, just a weird little thing that's happening right now. So I'm debating how I want to do these. Do we do the wings, the like rusted bronze that I've done them? Or do we do her body as the rusted bronze? And the wings like red? Or the dress red? I think the body needs to be silver to show that she's metal. If I do the bronze, we'll do the wings bronze. And then we'll kind of figure it out from there. But yeah, I liked it. I liked the little video there. Kind of rambles off for a while, but I'm no stranger to that. It was all in all great. So I recommend go take a look. You probably already have because he's like a giant channel and I'm sure you've all seen it, but I did see that in the comments of humans are just orcs now. But even the orcs have been described as it being psychic powers from the warp, but they all collectively are a little bit psychic, and that's how it works, so... Wings red, body silver, dress bronze? Oh no. Oh no. We've already started, no. Ah! Hello there, John. How you doing? Wings red. Can I still do it? I haven't gone very far. It'll just be a little bit discolored. Or do I just commit? I've already kind of committed by doing one color. No, we're gonna just keep going. We're committed to the brown. Think the red will cover it? Alright. Trusting you, Mouths. Do I have a favorite Imperial Guard regiment lore-wise? Not really. I like the idea of the Imperial Guard more than the actual Imperial Guard. I like stories involving the Imperial Guard, and that's kind of it. Because they get to be the humans' perspective in wacky fun land that is Warhammer 40k's universe. It's fine. We're doing it. It's working. It's working. Because this is only the base coat. I'm gonna highlight it with brighter colors to help really bring it up. But it's pretty neat. Did I get another Indominus set or just one of the new starters? I just got one of the new starters that I think it's the Elite box. I split it with one of the guys at the local shop. I took the Necrons, he took the Spacemans, and it made it so that I can play like a 2,000 point list, which is what I wanted. I wanted to be able to play 2K so Ash and I can play a bit bigger games. But I can't spend any more monies on the miniatures. I spent too much recently. So no new models for a little while. We're gonna just catch up on the backlog. Gotta pay the bills. Help me out here, please. Facing 3 Demolisher Leman Russ are tearing my army apart, especially when they get the extra reach. What army are you playing? What else does he have? What scenarios are you playing? How many points are you playing? What are we doing here? Give me a little bit more. Influence 100. Hey man, when nobody votes other than you get a lot of swing. Yeah, I think you're right though. And then what I'm going to do is we'll do the branches like bronze as well. I just started back to school and quit my job, so no new minis for me. Yeah, those are both reasons to not be getting new minis. That's for sure. I have started a new job and it's great. I've been really enjoying it. I've talked about it a few times, but basically being able to, like, I'm not like that old enough to be giving advice to people, but I can tell you that for me, not having some peace of mind and some stability in your day-to-day life is worth losing $2 an hour or $3 an hour or whatever. Lose a bit of money so that you can have a reasonable schedule and work life kind of balance. You need it. The value that you get in just feeling better is 100% worth it, in my opinion. It's made it that I can do these streams and not want to do them anymore, even though it's all stuff that I like. I have been getting so much painting done in the last couple weeks, both on stream and off, just from having the motivation to actually do it. Okay, so you're playing Strike Force missions with Grey Knights and Blood Angels. Do you have a Smash Captain? Because I'll be honest, he'll solve like 2 of those Demolisher Cannon's problems instantly. You may not be wanting to go that route, but you could, and it will just kill 1 to 2 Demolishers, no questions asked, every game. Maybe all of them. You might not be able to deal with that guy. Might get you with weight of fire, but that's how it's going to have to go. Other than that, how big are you on Indomitus and the new stuff? Because the new motorcycles are super good for dealing with basically everything in the Imperial Guard army. Whether it's just rolling the high wounds on vehicles or gunning down waves of infantry, that's pretty solid. I think red was also the right call for the wings, if only to really differentiate it from the green that it normally is. And I was going to have her crushing an Ultramarine, so it works even better. Oh, thanks, John. What was my favorite GW announcement yesterday? I didn't give 2 fucks about the GW announcements yesterday. I'm sorry that you spent a super chat on it, but I don't care. They didn't show anything. I want Tyranids in Age of Sigmar, goddammit. It's the only thing I want. I want that Beastgrave stuff that keeps like hinting at like the silent people who are clearly bug-like. I want a Tyranid faction in Age of Sigmar. I would absolutely buy in on a Tyranid faction in Age of Sigmar. Because my problem in Age of Sigmar right now is I don't fucking like any of the armies other than goblins. I've tried and tried and tried, and I collect other ones. I get the undead, I buy in on it, I'm like, bleh, I don't like it. Or I buy in on Duardin, or the, what are they called? The Caradron Overlords, and it's like, blah, I don't like this either. Give me some Tyranids, damn it. Yeah, getting a welding career, that's not bad. New lizard model for Underworlds, that's fair. I mean, but it's Underworlds, so it's like, I'll be honest, I don't think I really like any of the current crop of specialist games that you... Oh, Snotling teams. That wasn't necessarily today, but I love the Snotling models. Those are fantastic. I'll probably hold off on converting up my Beetle until I have a Snotling team, and then I'm going to use them to, like, ride it. Wonderful looking models. I might even play Blood Bowl. I know that wasn't today, but it was great. recommend Imperial Fist. Skaven Swarm, like Tyranids, but just furry. No, because it's not the same. I like Skaven, but it's not the same. New Necromunda? Meh. Underground, is it Underground Necromunda? No, that was Underground Warcry. I should play more Necromunda actually. That wasn't so bad. And there's some teams now that exist that I like. Like I like the religious firehouse. I used a bunch of those models, or at least pieces from them, to convert up my Chaos Cultists for my Chaos 40k army, combined with some Frostgrave miniatures to make a whole bunch of them. Worked out pretty well actually. I like those guys quite a bit. Some of them are little like skeleton people too. I like Underworld models. I like and collect them, but in various forms of many in the Age of Sigmar universe. But I don't like Age of Sigmar's or the Underworld's game. I mean, then you're the perfect GW kind of customer, where you're buying them because you like the models and you like painting, as opposed to the people who are going to gain and lose value based on how good they are in the game. People like me, Cawdor, I believe is the correct term. Anyone here painted the Blood Bowl Elfheim Eagles? They are tough, partial armor on the legs, scarves and ribbons between their legs, and typical yellow cloth tunic, etc. I mean, at least you're only painting like 12. Here's hoping the Redemptionists make it to New Necromunda. Yeah, that might be the one I was actually thinking of. Or I was mixing the two in my head. One of these books that I dragged out earlier has the Redemptionists in it. How about some BFG, eh? How about some BFG, Chris? We were playing BFG today. Where were you? I was having to play against fucking Eldar, and it was obnoxious as shit. I hate playing against the Eldar. It's like fun cancer for that game. Oh my god. Fucking BFG. There's a specialist game that actually... So you know how you guys... I've talked about it the last couple of weeks, how I don't believe that Mordheim should come back to life, because Mordheim is more of a feeling than it... Like, it's more theme than it is structure. Battlefleet Gothic is... I have a different stance on it and feel that it should come back. Small miniature spaceships and like 40k specific spaceships are a thing that's not easy to come across, unlike generic fantasy humans and monster men. And the rules for Battlefleet Gothic, you could trim without destroying the feeling of playing Battlefleet Gothic. But having new spaceships and stuff would be amazing. So if GW was going to make a specialist game come back, I would want that one to come back more than I would want Mordheim to come back. I'm realizing that this lady is starting to look an awful lot like Nagash did. We're getting some blood for the blood god skirt feel going on right now. I went through so much blood for the blood god painting my Bonomancer's army, whatever the fuck they're called, Bone Reapers. Oh my god. Plastic BFG with slightly bigger kits? Exactly. Like, I would be on board if they went through that, Chris. I would like to see a re-release of those, like, scale them up just a bit. Maybe, like, a 5% upscale. And then bring them out again as plastic kits. Once again, like all my shows, we'll take a picture at the end, and I'll show you what it looks like, the miniature, so don't worry if you can't tell too much in the picture. Yeah, and then you could sell little ordnance guys, because if it's upscaled a bit, you don't have to worry about ultra micro little ships. You could have little decent sized ones. Wasn't Drop Fleet Commander pitched as the BFG successor? Can't think of another space game at the moment. I'm pretty sure Drop Fleet was actually made by the guy or one of the guys who was involved in Battlefleet Gothic. Like, Drop Fleet Commander is just Battlefleet Gothic. I actually have like 2 full fleets for Drop Fleet Commander, and I haven't even built them. I built like 2 ships that I used for a demo when I was writing some stuff. Do you think GW will ruin Warhammer Fantasy when they bring it back at some point? I mean, the jury's out. What has GW ruined? That'll narrow down what you think. I don't have an answer. I don't know. I mean, maybe. You can't ruin something that doesn't exist, so they can make it come back and it just be like meh, which is probably the outcome that happens, but we'll see. We'll see. Okay, so she's got like armor and a dress. So we could do the armor bronze and the dress something else. We'll see. The armor's got to be bronze because it's bronze on all the other guys, so we got to do that. Keep the skin silver. I'm okay with that too. Andy Chambers wrote Drop Fleet Commander. Oh, there you go. I like Epic 40k. Always wanted to play it. Scale seems right for the 40k universe. Giant armies clashing with Titans and air support. Yeah. Epic would be cool. But I'd rather BFG came back. I want more ships. I want ships that are accessible. Trying to find ships online is like really difficult. Nigh on impossible for some of the factions. Like I'm lucky and happen to have acquired a lot of the BFG ships that I want for the factions that I play. But not everybody's going to get to do that. Like, they're not easy. Skin should be bright yellow green. Bright. Well, I was going to do the eyes like super bright. Like red all the way down to white kind of thing. Because the skin is just holding her in. There we go. What did he say earlier today? Death is just your skeleton hatching. Oh, we've got a bunch of hair. Probably just do that black, actually. There we go. Why do you think GW are taking so long to re-release Fantasy? I think they're totally redoing all the factions. I think they're just making new factions. But also, they want to make sure that there's a little bit of interest still, so that people who play mass fantasy games don't just disappear. So they just dropped that hint that one day in the future they'll make it again. But now it's in all the stages, like all the releases go, where they have 3 or 4 years of pre-production, designing, sculpting, writing, planning, all the things involved in their game. And then they're going to have to make miniatures, they're going to have to get those casts made up, they're going to have to figure out how they want to market it, they're going to have to figure out like all the aspects that go into designing a product. Like, it's going to be a few years because they just kind of dropped that to let people know that it'll be on its way back one day. When do I think they'll announce it? Probably another year or two. If you look at it from like... I don't know. I don't know what the timelines would be. I'm not into miniature production, so I have no idea. Depends how they do it and what they want to do. Models are so great right now for all companies, not just GW. Well, the models are getting easier to make. They're getting cheaper and nicer all across the board. Cheaper for design, cheaper for sculpting, and because like with all the AutoCAD / like computer stuff, it's made it so much easier for people to just make, change, and remake models rather than sculpting them all by hand. And then you have cheaper production because more companies are involved in spinning and creating miniatures. We are in the renaissance of miniature games, guys. There are more miniature games now than ever before, and some of them are actually pretty good. But people just kind of play GW, which is a bummer. Though not that bad, because I think that the GW games are pretty good. I think they've got a lot going for them. Just that I wish people were a little bit more willing to branch out and try different things. The number one thing I hear from people who are interested in the games that I played or have played or I'm interested in is, yeah, I'd like to play that, but everyone in my group plays GW game. Probably come out at the same time as Total War 3. Well, I mean, Total War Warhammer and all Total Wars are currently broken right now, thanks to the glitch that, or the exploit, glitch, mod, problem that has come out involving the AI turn. I'll be honest, I'm not going to tell you what it is. If you're playing Total War, any of them, Total War Troy, Total War Warhammer, 1, 2, fucking any of the Total Wars right now, this will ruin your experience playing the game. So I'm just not going to tell you. Needless to say, there's a bug right now that exists that can make it impossible for you to lose a campaign. It's really shitty, and it's made it so that I can't really play any of those games right now until a patch comes out. So I'm just waiting for a patch to come out. But it affects all of these different games, which makes me think it's something really baked in, and it's going to be difficult for them to just patch it and be done. So, yeah. We're on the waiting list. What do I think of the new Necromunda Underhive video game coming? We will wait and see. It's the same guys who made the Mordheim video game, if I recall. And that game wasn't bad. It was just, like, fine. And it got better as time went on. Mostly when the bugs got ironed out. Fucking bugs in that game. The number of times... I feel like I died on stream one time due to a ridiculous bug. I know I had a whole team get wiped out because it accidentally spawned like a dozen blue horrors on top of each other instead of one. And so like a whole wave of them just came out and fucking murked my whole team. I also had, before it had like the autosave exit to desktop rules where the game would crash and it'd be mid-fight and your guys would just be dead when you came back. That happened a few times. Yeah, I saw Legend of Total War's video about it. That's, I think that's where I learned it. I kind of knew, someone had told me about it and then linked his video to watch it in action. So, yeah. Go look if you want to ruin your own game. Better off just waiting, though. Or pretending it doesn't exist. Hated the Mordheim game. I watched you stream it loads and thought it looked great. Bought it recently, played it for 2 hours and uninstalled. Absolutely despised it. It is not a fair game. That's for sure. It is a punishing game filled with bullshit and RNG that, like... So, I was thinking about this. So, I recently installed the Blood Bowl video game. The Blood Bowl 2 on my PC. And I've been playing it. And the thing I keep thinking is I wish it just showed a dice roll rather than a percentile on the likelihood of something happening. So, like, let's say it's a 6+, it'll say 16% because that's the percentage of a 6+. Or like a 4+, it'll say 50% chance of getting it. And I know it doesn't actually change anything, but for my state of time, or state of mind rather, I wish that that's how it works. She's looking pretty cool right now. I don't know if we can... Let me see if I can figure out my camera settings again. One sec. Oop, move that over to the side. Video, input, camera control, focus. Let me get some extra. How about a little more light? I also have a bunch of scarabs to go on the base. We'll just call her the Red Queen and do a bunch of zombies. I've honestly never had a game make me so angry. They show the percentile chance of getting something to happen in the Blood Bowl 2. I mean, as someone who's played a bunch of dice games, I can convert that percent to the dice. Is that a Reaper miniature? No, that's a GW. That is a Lariel. She's the Ever Queen. No reason to waste your life waiting for Warhammer Fantasy. Don't waste time waiting for something that may not be here for who knows how long. Better playing games that exist like Oathmark or Kings of War. I mean, unless you don't want to play those, and you just don't play a fantasy game until one comes out that you like, which might be the Warhammer Fantasy. So, we'll just have to see. I didn't like that Mordheim game. I prefer Left 4 Dead 1 for that co-op team versus AI hordes. Fair enough. To each their own. Yeah. You've got me thinking about Warhammer Fantasy right now. I don't know what I want for Warhammer Fantasy, if anything. I don't know if I even would want another ranking flank game. We'll have to see. I've got an army ready to play for Oathmark. I just need to paint it. I'll probably do a painting stream over the next couple weeks. The Wanderer's Queen? Yeah, it's for the Sylvaneth. This is her mount. And she normally stands on top of him and rides into battle and is a horrifying wizard / melee monster because of her beetle. It's like damage 5 attacks. So it's like 3s and 3s, and every time it succeeds, it does 5 wounds worth of damage. And remember in Age of Sigmar that the damage splashes through. So like, just the beetle attacking, ignoring her magic, ignoring her fighting ability, she can just kill 25 goblins in like swap. Which I thought was just funny. I love Age of Sigmar supermodels. I know that they're not like super effective from a I want to win tournaments perspective, but goddamn are they fun. They feel like they're awesome too, because of Age of Sigmar's willingness to just murder everything. Vermintide is just like Left 4 Dead. It is literally melee Left 4 Dead. The enemies that you fight are even like reskins of the Left 4 Dead enemies, where there's like a smoker, a boomer, a guy who jumps on you. Like they're just the same. A tank is just a rat ogre. The Sylvaneth are elves / wood nymph hybrids. The Sylvaneth are actually, I think, a lot closer to the wood than they are to the elf at this point. There's like 2 units that are kind of elf-like, but the bulk of your army is going to be made up of like dryads and like Kurnoth hunters and tree men, and they're cool. I like the idea of Sylvaneth. I would even paint a Sylvaneth army, but mechanically and thematically they just are like, nah, I don't care. The feeling is weird. I don't like the tree feeling of like tree people coming out. Like if you re-skinned them or something, you might be able to do something with that. Like if you made them like, if you went 1-2 with the Necrons and just mixed them together, they were like robot trees. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. Just not for me. Not for me. I don't know what to do with the dress here, guys. I'm sitting here staring at it and being like, I don't want to do bronze, and I don't want to do red. What is the other colors that I could use? What do we even do here? I did red for the other guys. I mean, I could just do red on the dress too. It's not the end of the world. It just feels like it dominates the model a bit too much if I do that. But any other color is going to be like a bright contrast to everything else, potentially. I mean, I could do black is an option. And just have it muted so that the silver shines through a lot more. I don't know. Because like black dress, use the blue that's next to the glue. This blue is incredibly bright. It's gonna stand out like it's gonna be pretty aggressively blue at that point. Like it might overwhelm the rest of the model, blue, but it might not. It could be cool looking. Should test this on somebody else. Have any silver primed models that we could experiment painting one of them blue? Or an off-white / gray. Yeah. Try to stick to more metallic colors. That's the idea, is that they're all made out of metal, right? So that's kind of what I'm going with. Oh, the other blue? This one? The Lothern? Well, I guess this is ice blue. It's old. This blue. No, the Wanderers are not part of the Sylvaneth. They're a different faction. I just mean to say that there are some elf-like characters in Sylvaneth, like they're half tree, half human, or half elf kind of combies. Lorgar is the 30k equivalent to the original Civ's Condi, so loyal that he looped all the way around to full heretic. Fair enough. Didn't really play the Civ games. I'm actually looking to get Gladius, the 40k like strategy game. But I'm waiting for it to go on sale because I don't want to spend $100 on DLC. So I'm just waiting now. Hoping. Looks good. I hope it comes out. I hope a sale comes along soon. Because that's not in the budget to buy a $100 game right now. But when it goes on sale, like all the Relic games do, or the 40k games, that is, kind of all the Warhammer games, they go to really cheap on Steam. Like, outside of the Steam sales that you can buy like Soulstorm and like Dark Crusade for $15 or so. But then you can wait until there's a Steam sale and you can buy every game in Total War, or not Total War, in Dawn of War for like $12. And it's like $300 worth of stuff. So, yeah. Funny way that goes down. I don't want to do blue. I don't want to do gray. Maybe we'll just wait. Oh, we could do like a thermatic blue. Then it's not so like aggressively bright. And it looks pretty good on silver. I did it for my my Caradron Overlords. That's not bad. You know what, let's try that. Let's see how that goes. If I don't like it, I don't know. Might just end the stream. We are getting near the end though. It's been about an hour and a half. We'll call it. I got some painting done. We hung out, looked at some books, chatted. Do green. But we're doing this now. Hitting my microphone with the paintbrush again. Because I wanted to do the Terminator with the really bright, like Tassadar or Talisar blue for Ire, rather than her, because then he would really stand out as an Ultramarine. Or at least, not necessarily an Ultramarine, but, you know, he's blue and he's dead. Could be anything. Yeah, I like this Aether one because you don't need to do too much. You can just do a light coat and it gives just that nice little hint of like green. Combined with the Rise of Rust, like the Corruption and Rust, it can look pretty good. But I think this is pretty cool. I dig it. I think this was the right color to go with. Do the back. Get a wee bit more. Just one thick coat. I love contrast paints. They make everything so much easier. There are occasions, but thanks for sharing your Ret Necron color scheme. Yeah, man. It's super easy. You can paint really fast. I probably should start posting like what's the color scheme things in the videos here, but I didn't do that, so hopefully you were paying attention because I painted it today. But really easy. For the regular dudes, it's Fire Slayer flesh on raised metal plates and legs, any kind of like this part of the leg. Wash the whole thing in Nuln Oil, I believe, except for the brown parts, and then go back with red and get into the orbs and the areas there. But yeah, you can just grind them out really fast. They come out looking pretty cool. The only thing I had intended to do was to give them like a semi-luster shine. Just a little bit of like an Ard coat. But I hadn't gotten around to it yet. There we go. You have about 1,500 points painted? Nice. Yeah, I'm racing to try and get to that point as well. I think I have about 1,500 points. Alright, I'm going to put the Talisar blue on this Terminator so we can see what it looks like, and then we're going to end the stream. Because I want to see what it looks like. We'll zoom in and I'll show you what she looks like in general right now. Still got to do the black. Still got to do the Nuln on the metal parts, but let's look what, oh my god, it looks, this is how you should paint Ultramarines. I love this blue so much. It's such an awesome color. Like, I don't know how to describe it other than it's very blue, but you'll see in a second. If I was to paint an Ultramarine army, I would use this contrast paint rather than like Ash has used some cool color shifting paints that give you a really cool look, but I would use this with the Ard Coat primer, and you'll see what this guy looks like in just a sec. I just gotta get in there and get some paint on the model. I think we have to do a white helmet for him. Hard coat primer? I think that's the one I'm talking about. The one that comes out as silver. There we go, there we go. A little bit more on the hand. Close up that little gap there. We'll paint the Aquila afterwards, a different color. There we go. Started painting a Marine and Gundam color scheme, then I realized I was painting a Loyalist World Eater. Yeah. Let's see if we can bring up the colors or change the focus. Oh shit, can I close it? Move that over. Video input. Focus. There you go. Come on, light. Don't give up on me. This is going to be my my Catan shard as we move into more stuff. I intend on bringing up a couple of these colors, but also bringing down a few other ones, like the silver itself, and then art coding here, and then doing some really bright eyes, like red, not OSL, but like fading to white. And yeah, look at the blue. Look how nice that looks. Oh my god, they're so nice. Art coat is a varnish. It makes it so that they have like a shine afterwards. And then the one I'm actually thinking of is... I don't remember. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm kind of out of it. I'm drinking 2 coffees as we sit here. Got one and then one next to the other one to try and keep it together. That looks awesome. An AOS Sylvaneth Crane crushing a Terminator Space Marine. Exactly. We're gonna have her count as our Necron kind of overlord. She's a deceiver, and she should blend right in with these guys once they get a little bit more red on them. And then on the base, I've got a bunch of scarabs. So she's gonna be like herself, and then scarabs kind of running out in scarab fashion, just to really nail down that it's Necron-y. So do something like that. That's the idea. Maybe try and get one more scarab base. Maybe see if somebody wants to split the little starter set that just comes with the Necron warriors. Because I could always use more warriors, and it's only $30 or something if you split it with somebody, which is cheaper than a 10-man squad of warriors right now. It is such a nice blue color. I might say if you were going to do it, just don't do it with the metal. You get a different one, but yeah, real easy. Real, like, you're not going to misunderstand what this model is supposed to be. That's always been my line for if you want to do a conversion or if you want to do a proxy. You need to look like what you're supposed to be. You can't have it that you'd be confused about, like, what is it that model is? How dangerous is it? Because that'll mess with people's perception of what it is. So yeah, all in all, I'm pretty happy that I went around and ended up doing it this way. There we go. Raffi would be pretty cool, but she's kind of gigantic. Dave, I don't know what we're talking about. I don't know. I'm giving up on the primer conversation. I don't care too much about painting. I'll be honest with you. I can't speak to what specific names of things are because I don't have any fucking idea. There are colors that I remember and think that I need that have been discontinued for 20 years. Like, that's the kind of, like, oh yeah, I don't know what that is. Or it's like, it's red. No, that's the Iron Dust one. And it's like, it's red. I don't know. It's the brown one. What brown? I don't know. So, I'm sorry. I just don't know. I just don't know. But with that, guys, about an hour and a half in, a few models get the opening touches and a scheme plan kind of made up for her. And yeah, stay tuned. We'll have a 40K battle report coming out. It was supposed to come out this week. It's going to come out early. Sorry, it's supposed to come out last week. It's going to come out early this week. Ooh, maybe a convergence. I have a bunch of convergence models that I might be able to do something neat. Anyway, we'll end it for now. Thank you for watching, everybody. And I will see you next time. Next week, same time, same place. Should be at 8 o'clock, not 7 o'clock. And stay tuned for that. They discontinued the GW Blazes? Fucking... How am I supposed to keep this together? Whatever. Goodbye.